welcome back and welcome to the newcomers that are coming on to the Unshakable Soul podcast. My name is Sophia with My Secrets. I am your host here, where we get to discuss and explore the magic and mystery of this beautiful human experience. Today, I want to share with you 8 keys to help you navigate the dark night of the soul with greater ease and grace. And I'm going to start with explaining a little bit about what this is. You may have heard the word thrown here and there. Maybe you know what it is. Maybe you're totally new to this. So I want to preface it with a little bit of a definition, one that I resonate with and that I've personally experienced. And then we'll go into, well, how does it come about? Does it happen to everybody? Am I special? Are they special? So we're going to go through a little bit of that. And then after, we're going to go to a little bit of symptoms and seeing, okay, starting to identify for yourself, like, am I going through a period of time right now that could be related to the dark night of the soul? Right? And then at the end, I always love to wrap up with some practical tools and something tangible that we can utilize in our everyday life to start developing the self-awareness, but more than that, the embodiment of what it is that I can do with my own body, with my own awareness and intention, so that I can actually navigate this life with more ease and grace. Okay? And for those that want to dive deeper, I have an offering coming up online that I'm excited to share about. And I'll do that at the end. Okay? So, if you're ready, brew yourself some tea or your favorite warm drink. And let's dive into this. Okay. So, the dark night of the soul. Explained very simply. This is essentially a turning point in your life. A moment of realization that something is wrong. Something is misaligned. There's this feeling, a gnosis that something needs to change, right? And this is what often leads to these quarter midlife crises that we tend to talk about as well. This is when we can see people buying a blue car, or cutting their hair, or divorcing their wife or their husband, or going off on a trip. Things that are a little bit out of the blue. Right? So this is a moment in time that is super, super potent, because essentially you are rediscovering who you are. And the key thing to remember here is that we all go through this threshold, through this moment. And some people, and sometimes and oftentimes, multiple times. Okay? So, we can go through these moments in any given moment. Dark night of the soul doesn't need to be like a certain moment during your life, like at 50 years old. Okay, I should be in my midlife crisis. That's the mystery of life. Okay, and that's really dependent on what your soul has come here to experience. And that includes the challenges. The challenges that, if we're open to it, are our keys to our greatest expansion. Our challenges bring about places within us where perhaps we feel limited, we feel powerless. And in that discomfort, when we stay there long enough and we reconnect with our own vibrancy, our own life, and our own love, and come to meet the world in wholeness, we actually become a healing gift to our family, to our community, to the world. So the dark night of the soul is not only something you cannot escape, it's something necessary. It's an initiation into a a way of being that is aligned with who you're meant to be in this lifetime and what you're meant to experience and create and share and gift this world. So let's go back to the very beginning, though. How does it come about? Okay, so we kind of painted a picture. Okay, dark night of the soul, it's a threshold and initiation. Like, I'm going to go through it at some point. I don't really know when. Maybe I'm in it right now. Okay, but how does it come about? Right? It comes about when you get triggered, usually enough times that you say enough is enough. Now, it can come about also voluntarily, where you're taking yourself into your depths and basically giving yourself an ego death. If you're already on a spiritual path, you're probably already doing this practice, a little dying every day. Even if you're not, you can practice die every day when you go to bed. But for most of us, it's not voluntary. It's either coming from the outside, so certain people, places, or situations just like trigger the fuck out of us, and we're like, I want out. Right? Or it's more subtle than that. It's like this coming from within you. It's just like something feels like ants under my skin. It's just like I need to get the fuck out of here. Right? Okay, and these are the moments that bring about this realization that you've been living a lie, you've been fed a lie of who you're meant to be, who you should be, what success looks like, what a successful life looks like. You realize that you've been hiding out of fear, you've been staying small, you've been putting on this mask and overly identifying with it, with this identity. So it's all the ways we realize that we've been armoring up, protecting ourselves, masking, defending, controlling, pleasing, proving, performing, rushing around, trying to be perfect, trying to be the good girl, the good boy. And you may on the outside seem to have it all, but on the inside there's something off. So this is the moment that causes either an explosion or an implosion. And this is the awakening. This is the light. The first light is something's off, usually. Okay, and thus begins the seeking. Seeking for what? Seeking for truth. Because inevitably, if it's come to this point, then something was misaligned. We suffer because we are misaligned. Our heart, our body, our mind, our soul, there's a dissonance within us, so it causes conflict and friction. Right? The dark night of the soul is the beginning of a beautiful rediscovery of your worth, your power, your resilience, your truth, your authenticity, your essence. And for some of you, these words may be fluffy or you can't really grasp them. That's okay. Maybe it's a rediscovery of what it means to be human, to be alive, to be here. So a lot of the time this period puts into question everything. Okay? Okay. So, dark night of the soul, threshold moment, or moments. Initiation. To what? To seek truth. I want answers. I don't feel good. This doesn't feel good anymore. This boss, this friend, this partner, this dynamic, this relationship dynamic, this place, this living location. No. Okay. And then this is realizing something's off. That's number one. Okay. So let's take it back even more. Peeling back the layers to actually identify, well, the question might become then, well, what brought me to this? And I just mentioned that we suffer the most when we're in misalignment, when there's not an alignment with the truth of who we are and what we're actually living. Okay? But then you might ask, but what's been running the show? Like, I've been living all these 50 lives, 50 years, 20 years, and, I've been going. It's been good, quote unquote, Yeah. But who's been running the show? Is it you? Your soul? Or is it somebody else? Okay. The root of everything comes down to our beliefs, to the narrative, to the story that triggers an emotion, that triggers an action, behavior. And that action, repeated, creates your habits and your reality. Okay? So our current reality for most of us is actually based on a very limited perception of your child self, since so much of our inherited belief and behavioral patterns are from our primary caregivers and also from our lineage, from our ancestors. It's just been brought down generation by generation, all the fears and, of course, all the wisdom and gifts. But the point here is that a lot of the way that you've been living your life is not even yours, if it's unconscious. Okay. So what happens is that we have these beautiful triggers. Your boss, your partner, your parents, your dog, your children, and they're so beautiful because they bring up places where we are still unhealed, where we hold wounding, where we hold fear, where we hold resentment, anger. Right? So core wounds can be summarized as inadequacy, rejection, betrayal, abandonment, intrusion. You've been abused. Okay? And if we don't meet those parts of ourselves that feel that, then they're going to come up in various situations in our lives. So these wounds, they create these beliefs, these stories. I'm not good enough. People always leave me. I don't trust people. I don't trust anybody. I don't matter. I'm not safe to be me. Highlight that one. I am not safe to be me. All of these have this thing in common. I am afraid of being seen, of being heard in my truth. I am afraid of being seen, being heard in my truth. Unconsciously, perhaps, this has been running and ruining your life up until now. Every single decision that you've made, remember, starts with a thought, creates belief, creates feeling, creates action. Action creates perpetual habits. It creates your reality. And your realities are based off of your choices, the choices that you make. Were those choices conscious and aligned with true self, or were they unconscious and aligning with wounded self? So if we're now entering into this realm of dark night of the soul and we're the truth seeker, we're like, I want answers, I want truth, I want to know the truth. Well, then the number one practice is to look in the mirror. Can you see yourself? Can you feel the pain? The pain you haven't been willing to feel. The fear of abandonment, the fear of losing love, the fear of rejection, the fear of betrayal. That's the work. There's a lot of us, and I include myself in this. We go out there and we start listening to all the podcasts, reading all the self-help books, going on all the retreats, trying to find the guru that will give you all the answers. And sure, they can bring you some inspiration, but ultimately they're only guiding you home here to the wisdom and intelligence that's in your body. And yes, you're gonna have to go through the fires of Hades. There is no quick, easy button to enlightenment and to freedom and to awakening and to, yay, I am love and light. No. I mean, yes. But can you hold your depth and darkness too? Can you hold the places that you feel shame? Can you hold the parts of you that feel fear? Can you hold yourself in those crunchier moments in life with just as much compassion and patience and love that you would a child that's hurt? There's no spiritual bypassing. There's no quick fix. And it's not to say that we need to perpetually be in dark nights of the soul. But when we start connecting with the cycles of nature, the seasons within ourselves as women and outside of us, the phases of the moon, we realize that there's a beautiful timing to everything. That there's a reason why the leaves shed, that the earth goes silent and dormant for the winter. And there's also a reason why they bloom, why the flower opens and the bee comes and pollinates. And let us remember that the sun is always shining. It's not like it's going like, that, good night, I am not here anymore. Oh, hello, I'm here at dawn. No. We've evolved to understand that there's a rotation in the earth that's rotating around the sun. And at some point of the day, it's going to be dark because we're not facing the sun. So too can we realize that the light has never gone out within us. So let this be a remembrance for you that whatever you believe is happening to you is actually happening for you, so that you can reveal more of your light, so that you can connect with a deeper layer and level of loving, that you can embody your fullness, that you can restore harmony within yourself. Because remember, what leads up to this dark night of the soul usually is a dissonance, a disconnection, a misalignment within you and how you're living your life. Sooner or later, if we keep suppressing our truth, if we keep suppressing our desires, what's truly calling us, it's going to catch up to us. Okay? Okay, so here as we enter the turning point. So the turning point is what we may call the midlife crisis, the ego death, or just that inner knowing that a version of you cannot continue. Like, you cannot continue this way. Because that's going to lead to burnout. It's going to lead to destructive behavior for yourself and for others. Okay, so some symptoms that we could be feeling are confusion, sadness, anger, radical decision making, like the I'm cutting all my hair off, or I'm taking a trip to Timbuktu, something out of the ordinary, or just like this deep desire to be alone, like this retreating. Okay, and these are not bad. This is a natural manifestation of a soul yearning to realign to truth. Like, let's put you on course correct. Okay, and it's gonna take, number one, space. It's gonna take space. Space to feel, space to heal. Okay. So this is the moment when we stop running away. We realize, holy shit, I've been trying to numb myself and distract myself with so much doing, so much pleasing, so much busyness. And we start to embrace this period of solitude, this soulful solitude, to rediscover who we are. Right? We're embracing our shadow self. We're confronting our shadows. Our shadows is everything that's subconscious and hidden. A lot of the things we don't want to feel, or we don't want to be brought into the light, like your sexuality or your sensuality. It's quite taboo. Okay, especially for women. Okay, it's the deeper desires with us too. Right? Maybe I have a desire to have your own company, but you were told that it's not proper as a woman to have your own company. I don't know. Right? Maybe it's just voicing what you need. Just using your voice, the potency of your voice. Maybe you've been told that you're stupid, that your ideas don't matter. So you've learned to not speak your truth. Okay? So in the Dark Night of the Soul, we're learning to get really curious about all the various parts of ourselves that have been shut down, put into the shadow, kind of cast away, like putting on my black cloak, like I don't want to see you. Because when you come up, when sexy woman comes up, it's provocative. Don't do that. Dishonor to the family, for example. So you've learned to suppress it. Okay? There's also what's happening in this stage of the Dark Night of the Soul, this kind of shifting from ego to more purpose. Purpose becomes like a big theme. Like, you maybe realize, like, what the fuck is this for? Right? It's like you may be making a lot of money and on the external be super successful, but like it just doesn't seem to fill you. It doesn't matter the number of hours you work and how much money you bring in, or even how many girls you're fucking if you're a man, or opposite. You are unfulfilled. You're still left with this like emptiness, that just like a void that never can be filled up. So again, it's the re-questioning. It's like, where is this coming from? Where is this seeking coming from? Do I think I'm going to get something out there that I can't generate in here? That can't possibly be found in my own heart, in my own being? With what I already have? So in the dark night of the soul, in this period, we're also redefining, what does a fulfilling life look and feel like? Because maybe 10 years ago, a fulfilling life looked like, getting the car and having that job. But 20 years later, or 10 years later, or even 5 years later, or 2 years later, it's like, this no longer feels right. But how often do we stay? Do we stay in situations longer than their expiry date? And again, I can hear the people are going to say like, well, this generation's very like wishy-washy. And I'm going to admit, like, yes, this generation, mine, I'm 32, and the younger one is maybe a bit less committal. And of course, in the older generation, there is this beautiful things such as loyalty and commitment, but perhaps to a fault. So we're now in between and finding this middle ground where there's a commitment to soul truth. That's the commitment. There's the devotion to living a life that's in full alignment. That's authentic, that's true. That should be the number one commitment to yourself. And when you commit to yourself with your truth, to your love, to loving you, to accepting yourself, it's automatically going to translate outside. Because the choices you're going to make are going to reflect that. The self-worth and the self-respect that you have for yourself. Okay? So to summarize this shift or the period of the dark night of the soul, I can share a couple words you can just feel into. We're shifting from rushing, from the busyness, from doing, to like this slowing down, this more introspective nature, or at least taking more space for that. We're shifting from like the external validation, seeking approval, to the internal validation, to self-worth. We're shifting from, again, the busyness to the presence. So maybe I'm numbing and distracting myself from my feeling body. But now I'm slowly, it's actually safe to be here right now and to be in my body and to allow this energy to move because I know it's intelligent and it knows where to move and how to move through me. I can stay here and witness it without attaching any emotion to a story and just allowing it to move. Okay, we're also shifting from hiding, suppressing our truth, closing our voices, to authentic self-expression. We're moving from scarcity, just feeling there's never enough time, there's never enough money, there's not enough food, that I'm not good enough. We're moving to wholeness. We're moving to a place where there's an overflowing cup. Not out there, but in here. We're moving from victimhood, poor me, why me, this is all happening to me. We're moving to self-agency. Realizing, this is happening for me. And there's a golden nugget here. What is this trying to show me? To self-responsibility. Responsibility. I'm able to respond from a place of truth, of wholeness, of centeredness. Instead of from a place of fear, of wounding. Okay. So take a moment for you right now. Just to feel into my words. Just notice where you're at. And again, this period, the dark night of the soul, there's no specific timeline. really depends on the person and their consciousness, their awareness, and their intention. Because it's not meant to last forever. And I had to notice at one point in my journey that I actually started to create a nest in the dark. And I got pretty comfortable with my pain body. I was like, ooh, this is familiar. But my medicine is in coming out in the light. Spirit told me at one point, you're done playing in the dark. You need to come to the light and share that experience. You're done here. The real work is when you're going in the light. And oh boy, did it bring up these fear of being seen, and self-worth came into question, and everything, I'm not good enough. Oh man, I went through it all. But again, and I'm going to walk through you these 8 little keys to help you navigate this period so that it doesn't take you 5 years. It can take you a day. Right? Get the lesson and go. For most of us, it's going to take us some time. It doesn't need to take you a lot of time, but it's also offering us space, and it will also depend on how much have you suppressed? How much have you denied? Right? And this is what I'm so passionate about. It's really bringing women into this space with the light. And through this descent into our own depths, into the shadow, we realize that what we find there are not big bad demons. It's actually just a younger version of ourselves, or a part of ourselves that we never really got familiar with, because we never took the time to listen to what they need, to how they feel. And I like to associate this dark night of the soul, or this, we can also translate it to like spiritual awakening, or whatever you want to see it as remembrance. A remembering, coming back into wholeness so I can meet life in wholeness, give from a place of overflow, and experience everything that this life has for me to experience. The pain and the pleasure, the light and the dark, the moments of ecstasy, of bliss, and the moments of anger, of shame also. Holding ourselves to that, not staying in and wallowing in it, but just realizing that it's all part of this experience and that we're not alone through it. We're each walking each other home. And that's something I had to learn myself, because I was really much in this shadow alone. I gotta do this alone. I can do this alone. Still very much in my ego. And I realized that there are people that are going through the same thing, or very similar. And oh my gosh, when I'm voicing my truth, like, it's so liberating. And it's so inspiring to hear other people tell their stories and share their truth, their authenticity. That vulnerability forges intimate connection. And I was like, there's magic here. So the more that we can share not only our suffering and pain, but also like all that we're creating, right? We create beautiful art and relationships and businesses and organizations, communities from, yes, deep suffering, and also from periods of illumination and insight and inspiration. All right. I'm going to shift gears here and offer you 8 keys to navigate this dark night of the soul. Okay. So number 1 is acknowledging you're in it. So when you name it, you remove the shame and fear. Own it. All right, I'm going through the dark night of the soul. You're not identifying with it. Be very careful. Don't use it as a blanket or as an excuse. You're owning it and you're acknowledging it. You're voicing it. Number 2 is to identify one trusted confidant. It could be a friend. It could be a parent or a relative. It can also be a third party, like a coach, a mentor, a guide, whoever you trust deeply. So you're not meant to do this alone. At least one person. Maybe of a community, and that's great. Right? But sometimes you just want to have one and want to have one-on-one chats. Okay, that's to have that person that's like a safe space. And it doesn't mean you have to work on it and share every single thing with them every single day. No, there's your own practice that you need to do and descend yourself. But being able to voice your experience and having a sounding board is really, really healing as well. Feeling seen and heard in your truth is very powerful medicine and witnessed. Number 3 is let yourself feel. So even before that, I'd say create a safe space in your home. Doesn't need to be big, but a place that you can go to meditate, to journal, to wail, to stomp, to rage, to light a candle, to sit. Okay. It could also be a spot in nature. For me, it was a tree that I had nearby. And I'd go there, just sit, and everything that needed to surface would surface there. I'd speak to the tree too. And feel free if you want to do the same. Okay, so the preface to number 3 was create your safe space. And then number 3 is let yourself feel. This is so important because for a lot of us, we're feeling what has been suppressed, expressing what has been suppressed, and you don't need to understand why. If you feel tears, you feel rage, you feel nothing, it's perfect. Okay? The importance that you're moving the energy through your body. Dancing is beautiful medicine here. Shaking, crying, stomping, of course in a safe space, punching pillows, sounding it out. This is part of a cathartic release. This is part of the transmutation where this pain or fear you've been feeling or shame is rising up. And it's bubbling up. It's in the cauldron. Fire and water are mixing together. Number 4 is remember to nourish yourself. Okay, so as I mentioned, you're taking more space. Maybe you're clearing your schedule more. You're resting. You're in nature, eating warm food. Don't forget to eat. Some people, when they're stressed or they're going through a turbulent time, they forget to eat. Some other people, they eat way too much. So notice what's your tendency. Okay. Spend more time with yourself. Have salt baths. Many salt baths. Purify yourself. Okay, and baths are just so soothing and they help you kind of slow down. Light a candle. Turn off the lights. Maybe put a little meditative background music. Okay. Number 5 is journal. Brain dump. Brain dump your feelings, your ideas, your thoughts, your beliefs. Journal. What hurts? Where do you feel unseen, unheard, unmet in your needs? What are your needs? What do you value? Does those things change? What stories are you telling yourself about what you deserve? Okay, there's so many different journal prompts that we can have. But the important is that we're putting out and expressing and seeing objectively what has been hidden and causing us confusion and overwhelm in our mind and stuck in our body and causing pain and discomfort. Okay, number 6 is choosing a new story. So we start remembering that we are the main character, the director, the producer of our life. We're not a victim. We're not a pawn. We're the whole thing. And our story and our relief really sets the tone. What comes with you and what stays behind. So this is when we start getting into, well, what do I want my life to look like? And who am I in this life? Am I in the same house? Am I with the same partner? Is it just my energy that's shifting? Because now I have a shifted perspective based on my shadow work that I still feels aligned to stay with this person or be in this place, whatever, or in this job. But the way I'm showing up is shifting. That could be it. Or it could be, fuck the boss, I'm changing jobs, or no longer in this relationship, or changing houses, or something is shifting on the outside. But a lot of the times, it's an inner shift that will bring about an external shift. Right? So it's like the setting button. Like we're seeing what mode we want to be on. But sometimes the setting on the external environment will also influence and has also influenced and impacted us inwards. So there is such a thing as the place that's the most conducive for your own growth. And that's why starting with creating your safe space so that you can feel and that you can really reconnect with what is true will help you a lot to gain that clarity in realizing at one point, oh, yeah, no, I have to shift places. And sometimes shifting places is temporary. You go on that retreat, you go for a year, you go for a week. And just that shifting in the environment can also bring about clarity. Sometimes it's you're moving, right? But a lot of the times it's just that little pause to realign. Okay, number 7 is be kind to yourself. Okay, this is not about self-pity, right? It's about meeting yourself with compassion, yet holding yourself to the fire. So again, we're not wallowing. We're feeling what needs to be felt. We're taking the golden nugget and we're freeing ourselves. From what? From the story, from the belief that's been running our life. From the illusion. And we're choosing a new narrative. We're choosing to embody a new energy. The energy of wholeness, of love, of peace. Choose the word that resonates for you. Okay. Number 8 is remembering your cyclical wisdom and the seasons in nature. Okay, especially for women hearing this right now. You have your inner seasons, even if you're not menstruating. We are deeply connected to the cycles of the moon, to the rhythms and the pulse of nature. You have deep-seated wisdom that we have, for the most part, not even started to comprehend, because it's not comprehensible. It's something that's very visceral and felt. It's a gnosis. And we carry it unconsciously, but when you bring it to the light, when you bring your attention, your awareness, your love to it, then you're connecting to the space within you that is the void, that is the portal to death and rebirth, your womb. And we get to go in that space every month, every new moon, every winter, in the season. This is the dormancy, a period of stillness, of silence, of presence, of just attunement. And if we sourced our decisions and choices from that deep gnosis, that place of wisdom, when we've cleared all the noise and external pressures and expectations, if we source from that place, we'd be living in a different world. And slowly we're going there. Women are reclaiming their power, which basically is, I am sourcing my decisions, not from mom or dad or boss, but from my body, from soma and soul. And I have my psyche to guide me in discerning and in supporting my soul. I discern what is right, what is wrong, what is for me, what is not, what is supporting me, what is not. And everything's in alignment. Psyche, soul, soma. It's in alignment. I thus move through life with more ease. I move through life with more ease, more grace. The cycle for the woman, a deeper layer here, is the descent, the spiraling. It's not linear, right? It's like the spiraling, descent down and rise up every single month. Same for the seasons. We go through various seasons. We embrace different seasons for their gifts. Okay? There's a wisdom in your cycles. Everything moves in cycles. The tree's not like, oh my gosh, I want to hold on to my leaves. In the pine trees, they do. But the other trees, they shed. And they lay there bare naked, vulnerable. They're patient, they wait, and they know. In the spring and the summer, they'll bloom again, just like the flowers. Everything has a cycle. Look at the moon, the seasons, the tides, your breath. You're not only inhaling, you're not always exhaling. Okay, but for a lot of us in the first world, we're inhaling more than we're exhaling. There's a harder time relaxing and giving ourselves spaces to rest, to come into stillness and presence, because society has kind of wired us to always be on, always be busy. There's always something to do. There's always something to fix. Okay? So it becomes, this dark night of the soul becomes a silent rebellion. Maybe not so silent, but in an aspect it is. Because you're reclaiming, you're no longer pulled left, right, and center by the world, or by what society says you should be doing with your life. You have your inner compass, you have your body, you have soul, and your psyche is on board. You have this heightened level of intuition and discernment. Okay? So now in the northern hemisphere, we're entering into the winter season, which can be seen as a dark night of the soul. Right? We're preparing the soil for new growth. So really the invitation here is to slow down, to clear more of your schedule, to spend more time in stillness and silence, or connecting with your loved ones, or journaling, or reading, or just meditating, taking baths, reconnecting with your inner flame, with the light of your soul, feeling your own warmth, creating that warmth in your hearth, the hearth being your body and your physical space, your house, your apartment. So the dark night is like the winter of the soul. Okay. And what makes this process more easy? It's not an easy process per se, but we can make it more graceful and easy when we stop resisting it and start just trusting the unfolding. So again, these 8 little keys to navigate the dark night of your soul. Acknowledge you're in it, number 1. 2, find one person you trust, a confidant. Number 3, part 1, create your safe space. Number 3, let yourself feel emotions rising. Let it flow. Number 4, nourish yourself. Remember to eat warm food, rest enough, be in nature, find some solitude as well. Introspection, have the salt baths, and connect with community of like-minded people if that feels supportive for you. Number 5 is journaling. Just get out of your mind, put pen to paper. Number 6, choose a new story, choose a new narrative, choose new beliefs. And number 7, be kind with yourself, yet hold yourself to the fire. So stay accountable. Okay. Number 8 is remembering your cyclical wisdom and that this is not meant to last forever. Okay, this is the dark night of the soul. It is here to liberate you at the end of the day, so that you can discover your gifts and who you are and your purpose. Your true purpose of why you're here in this lifetime, which leads to a much more fulfilling life, and leading from that place of soul. All right, loves. I feel complete. Just tune into your body and see what's rising up, see what's resonating. Of course, if anything doesn't resonate, feel free to chuck it, throw it. But if something does resonate, acknowledge it. Share it in the comments or write it down. Okay, so I just want to close with these 3 points I wrote down here. That's kind of like a summary. Your dark night of the soul is not a punishment. Again, we're getting out of that victim mentality. It's an initiation into your true essence, into the truth of who you are. The dark night of the soul is not that you are lost. It's you're being rewritten. You're recalibrating. You're realigning to what is true, to what is you. And lastly, the dark night of the soul doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're becoming. Not becoming somebody different, becoming more of who you're meant to be. So choose to be present, choose to trust in the unfolding, and be open to life itself. Those are my final thoughts. All right, it's been lovely being here. And of course, for those that want to journey deeper, I have an online solstice ceremony coming December 21st, where we are going to be journeying inwards to ignite our soul spark. Okay, so the darkest night of the year in the Northern Hemisphere here. We are closing off 2025, so it's called Echoes to Embers. And the reason why I chose that title is that we're going to be feeling into really that story that's being burnt. The old paradigm, the old outdated belief system, that's the echoes of the past that's leaving us behind. And we're on this threshold beginning to rekindle the embers of our soul. What feels like a full body, yes, what feels so alive within me right now. what feels aligned, what feels true. And we're going to anchor into that new frequency to take us through the darker months and up until next year in the spring, and see where that flourishes. Okay. So if anything in this soulful conversation we've had here sparks something within you, of course, grateful for your comments, grateful for you sharing this episode to a colleague, a friend, a family member as a way to share this medicine forward. But also, Echoes to Embers could be a space for you. It's a pay what feels right for you type of offering. And I wanted really to make it accessible, given that we are in this threshold moments in our times in humanity, in the world, where we are shifting frequency, whether we know it or not, in a collective level that's inevitably affecting us individually. So the more we're able to attune and recalibrate consciously with simple practices and embodied presence, the more this period, which are going to span months until next year and a little beyond, is really going to be key. Okay? All right. Okay, loves. Until the next episode, until I see you next, may you be well. Take care of yourself. I'm filming this on the full moon, December 4th, so happy super full moon in Gemini. And I will see you when I see you, where I see you.